You notice the same headline popping up again and again tonight. Like a classic detective's notebook, marked with circled clues and crossed out leads, your mind narrows its focus. It's almost automatic. You reach for details that back your hunch, while the rest fades to gray. Why do we so often only see what we already believe? Imagine arguing with someone and feeling sure you're right, not because of new facts, but because your mind filters out the rest. Confirmation bias isn't just a quirk of thought. After this, the next time you face a choice or a clash, you'll spot how your mind shapes the story before you even realize it's happening. The detective's notebook. Picture this. You're sitting at a desk, staring at a pile of scattered notes. One page is full of scribbles, circles, and crossed out lines. You reach for the note that fits your hunch, the one with a name or date that feels just right. The others? They barely get a look. It starts quietly, almost like a habit. But each time, you grow more certain your story is the truth. You're stacking clues into a neat pile, but it's not the whole picture. It's subtle, like waking up, grabbing your phone, and scrolling past every headline that doesn't match your view. Psychologists call this confirmation bias. It's a preference for information that fits the story in your head. Back in the 1960s, Peter Wason showed how people often test ideas one-sidedly. They chase what confirms their guess and ignore what doesn't. This isn't just stubbornness. Your brain is trying to save effort and avoid being wrong. It's a shortcut, a cost-saving move. But it's also why you might feel sure about something, even when the facts aren't all there. Think about a medical test. A doctor spots one sign early, then looks only for evidence that matches it, missing other possibilities. Or a detective who locks on a suspect, seeing only clues that fit that picture. When your mind works like that, the story feels real, but it might be only half the truth. Here's the twist. Wason's puzzle shows this bias isn't just a quirk. It's a trap that twists what we believe. So, you have to ask yourself, how do you know you're not just seeing what you want to see? Peter Wason's puzzle. But picture this. You're handed a simple puzzle, a set of cards face down, each showing a number on one side, a letter on the other. Your task? To figure out the rule that links them. Peter Wason gave this puzzle to people back in the 1960s. You might think you'd test your guess by flipping over cards that could prove you wrong. But no, almost every time, you pick the cards that would only confirm what you already believe. You lean in, eyes scanning the cards you pick. The sound of shuffling in the quiet room. The cards you ignore? Those that might shatter your idea? That's the trick. It's not just laziness or lack of curiosity. It's wired deep in how your mind works. Your brain is wired to look for signs that say, yes, you're right. This is part of a broader pattern psychologists call the irrational primacy effect, where the first information you encounter holds extra weight, shaping what you look for next. It's a habit clipped into the way you think, not some fail you can fix with effort alone. Suppose a detective, early on, locking eyes on one suspect, circling clues that fit, ignoring the leads crossed out in the notebook. That's you, every single time you test what you think. But here's what slips under the radar. What if the evidence that could break your belief is the one you never look for? And what if this habit shapes more than just puzzles? The stories you tell yourself about the world, that's where things get darker and more tangled. What comes next is the bias in what counts as evidence, and how that changes everything. The bias in the evidence. Consider, you and a friend sit on the couch, watching the same debate unfold on your laptop screen. The speaker makes a point, calm and clear. You lean in, eyes sharp. That's the proof you needed. Right there. Your friend shifts slightly, brow furrowed. They find the very same moment troubling, a sign the argument might be flawed. Two people, one scene, different stories. You don't just see facts, you edit them. Select pieces to stitch the story you want to hear. It's like a detective's notebook, with clues circled and others crossed out. The reality stays the same, but your mind rewrites the lines. You'll search for evidence that fits your view, skipping over what doesn't. Research on selective exposure shows people differ in how strongly they defend their attitudes, with some tuning out anything that challenges their views. Studies find people often ask questions that get a yes, not a no, a positive test, to back their beliefs. But it's not just lazy thinking. It's how you keep your story whole. Think about it. A custody case. Asked who should get the child, people focus on the good qualities. Ask who should be denied custody, and they hunt for the bad. Same facts, different direction. Your mind favors the version that holds your narrative steady. Experiments on attitude polarization show that disagreements can grow more extreme even when everyone sees the same evidence. But here's the twist. What if memory itself bends the evidence? What if the way you recall things isn't neutral? Memory's selective lens. You grab your phone and scroll back to a message from last year. It's about that fight. The one you've gone over too many times. The words you remember now, they favor your side. Softened or sharpened just right to feel fair. You see yourself calm, steady. Their voice quick, angry, fading at the edges. But the full truth. The messy back and forth is dimmer now. Not erased, just quieter. The details fold into the shape your mind wants today. Like a detective's notebook with pages circled and crossed out, your memory edits the story to fit what you believe now. This isn't just your imagination. It's what psychologists call belief perseverance. Experiments show people stick to their beliefs, even when evidence proves them wrong. Peter Wason's famous tests from decades ago revealed how we search for proof that backs what we already think, ignoring the rest. Your past isn't set in stone. It bends to match your present. And here's the thing, that's only part of the story. What you think you know might be just the beginning of what really happened. The emotional weight. Now, picture this. It's late, and you're sitting on your worn-out couch. The glow from your phone casts a pale light as you scroll through a feed full of opinions you already agree with. A headline pops up, something that challenges a belief tied to who you are. Maybe it's about your politics, or how you see your job, or even what you believe about love. Your heart tightens. You stop scrolling. You tap in, then back out, hesitant. The doubt sneaks in, but it's uncomfortable. So, your mind reaches for proof. Every comment, every shared article, every like. Like a detective circling clues in a notebook, you mark what fits and cross out what doesn't. It feels urgent, personal, because this isn't just thinking, it's feeling. This bias is a weight pressing on your chest, making you clutch harder to what feels true. You don't notice the way your memory shifts. You recall moments that support your view, the ones that ease the tightness, the ones that make you feel right. Even when facts lean the other way, your mind's eye edits the scene. It's not just stubbornness, it's survival. The world feels smaller. Your belief, bigger. This is what psychologists call illusory correlation. Seeing connections that aren't really there, just because they fit your story. Experiments on this show how people link unrelated events when they confirm what they already think. Peter Wason's early work revealed how we test ideas in a one-sided way, chasing proof instead of truth. Over 5,000 academic studies have mapped this bias. showing how it shapes what you seek, what you see, and what you remember. But here's the catch. How often does this weight push you beyond what you actually know? What happens when confidence turns into overconfidence? And what cost does that carry for you in the quiet moments when no one's watching? Overconfidence's shadow. Think about the last time you caught yourself ignoring a piece of information that didn't fit what you believed. Maybe it was a news story, a text from a friend, or a comment in a meeting. You see it clear as day. The evidence is right there on the screen or across the table. Yet somehow, you swipe past it. Your mind tightens around your original thought, like a fortress that won't let the cracks show. Picture sitting at your kitchen table with your phone in your hand, late at night. The glow hits your face just right, revealing a thread of doubt you don't want to follow. It's uncomfortable. Change feels like losing something precious. Your certainty, your judgment, your pride. So you don't let it in. You don't question the clues you've circled or the leads you've crossed out in your mental notebook. You stick to your story. This is the shadow confirmation bias casts. It feeds your confidence, swells it without foundation. You believe you're right more than you should. This happens not because you're stubborn, but because your brain is wired to avoid the pain of being wrong. Peter Wason's experiments in the 1960s showed us this tendency to test ideas in one direction, always seeking proof that fits your theory, not the one that breaks it. Now, imagine a detective clinging to a single suspect while ignoring the ones who don't fit the picture. Every new fact is twisted to keep that suspect guilty. The walls of the fortress crack but don't fall. Your mind does this same thing every time you dodge evidence that threatens your beliefs. It's not just a quirk. It's a pattern that blocks real change. But what if change didn't mean losing? What if it meant something else altogether? Something you haven't allowed yourself to imagine yet. You notice the same headline popping up again and again tonight. It's not just coincidence. Your mind is wired to seek out what feels familiar, what matches the stories you already tell yourself. Peter Wason showed this decades ago. People test ideas one-sidedly, chasing what confirms their hunches. It shows up in how you scan news feeds, how you make decisions, how you remember moments. But seeing it changes the rules. Suddenly, you spot the crossed-out clues and pause before circling the next one. There's space then, to question, to linger, to choose differently. Maybe you'll try that tonight, if you want.